Narad Bhakti Darshan, Sutra number 51. In the previous sutras, Naradji was describing sadhan bhakti, how to do sadhan in the preparatory stage. You have heard that there are 3 yogas: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Some people consider a 4th yoga as well, Ashtanga Yoga. That is in fact included in Jnana Yoga. It is a part of it. You may consider it as a 4th yoga. There is an offshoot of that as well, Kriya Yoga. So are there so many different paths to God? The fact is that in all these yogas there is a common string, and that is bhakti or devotion or love for God. That bhakti is essential in every path. Because without God's grace, you can never attain Him. And to attract His grace, you need to love Him. That is why you may mix bhakti with karma. It becomes karma yoga. Do your karma and keep loving God. You may mix bhakti with jnana. With knowledge, it becomes jnana yoga. Bhakti by itself is bhakti yoga. But what is helping us meet God is that bhakti. Just like there is a mythical Amrit in Indian literature. If you drink Amrit, you will become Amar, immortal. Now you may mix that Amrit with milk and drink it, you will become immortal. You may mix the Amrit with water and drink, you will become immortal. You may take that Amrit neat by itself, you will become immortal. But what is making you immortal is not the milk or the water, it is the Amrit. Similarly, what is connecting you with God is the bhakti. Along with that, you may keep karma or jnana or ashtanga, that is your choice. So, this has to be firmly decided upon. This conviction that I need to love God to attain Him has to become strong. Otherwise, the confusion remains. Swamiji tells you, love God. Then you go and hear the next Swamiji, he says that you just do Tratak Dhyan. And then you hear the next Panditji, he says you meditate on the chakras. And the next one, he says you awaken the Kundalini. The next one says meditate on the Nasagra. And the other one says you do the Ashwamedh Yagya. Then you do little of this, little of this, little of this, little of this. So if we can decide this is the way, half the journey is complete. In order to develop faith, we must consult the scriptures. Don't believe it because Swamiji is telling you. That has no value. Believe it on the basis of the scriptures, then your faith will be solid and unshakable. If somebody says awakening of the Kundalini leads to God, you ask him, where is it mentioned in the Vedic scriptures? The Vedas are very clear. Bhaktirevainam nayati, bhaktirevainam pashyati, bhaktirevainam darshayati, bhakti vashah purusho bhaktireva bhuyasi. Bhakti will take you to God. Bhakti will help you see Him. Bhakti will help you attain Him and realize Him. The Bhagavatam is a very important scripture, even more than the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavatam, Ved Vyas writes, Bhaktyaham grahyah shraddhayatma priya satam bhaktim punati mannishtha shvapakanapi sambhavat ekaya. Sri Krishna is telling Uddhav, I am attained by love, by devotion. Now come to the Bhagavad Gita itself. Again and again Sri Krishna says, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, bhaktya tvananyaya shakya, purusha sah parah partha, bhaktya labhyastvananyaya. Those who know Sanskrit will understand each of these verses is saying, I am attained by bhakti alone. And the Ramayana says, Vari mathe baruho ighrita sikata te barutel binu hari bhajanan bhavatariya yah siddhanta apel. Can you extract butter from water? Impossible. Can you extract oil from sand? Again, impossible. Tulsidas says this impossible may become possible. Vari mathe baru hoi ghrit sikata te baru tel binu hari bhajanan bhavatariya yah siddhant apel. Without engaging in devotion, you cannot cross over this material ocean. This is an irrefutable principle, Siddhanta Apel. So, Vede, Ramayane, Chaiva, Purane, Bharate, Tatha Adau, Madhye, Tatha Chante, Hari Sarvatra Giyate. All these scriptures are telling us to love God. If we've done everything, but we've not learned to love God, then Dharma swanushtita pumsan vishvak sena katha suya notpadaye dyadi ratim shrama eva hi kevalam. It is shrama ev. It's a waste of time. We have missed out the one. Veda Vyas has been the most prolific writer of the scriptures. He is a descension of God Himself. He is one of the 24 avatars. And he is such a descension whose primary task was to write the scriptures. So he put the Vedas in writing 5,000 years ago. Earlier they were passed down by the oral tradition. And then to elaborate on the meaning of the Vedas, he wrote the 18 Puranas, which have 400,000 verses. And he also wrote the Mahabharata, which has 100,000 verses, and the 700 verse Bhagavad Gita is embedded in it. He has also written the Vedanta Darshan. Having written so many scriptures, Vedavyas started thinking that how will human beings read so much, analyze them, reconcile their apparent contradictions, and reach a conclusion on what they are supposed to do. So he said, I must present a conclusion from my side. So he says, Alodya sarva shastrani vicharya cha punah punah. In the Padma Puran he's saying, I have churned all these scriptures. Why do you churn? To take out the essence. And I have pondered over them again and again. Now imagine if a sage of the level of Veda Vyas starts pondering what will happen. When he wanted to write the Mahabharata, he did not need to ponder. He said, I am not going to take a pen, a quill and write it. I will merely keep speaking. Somebody should keep putting it down. Now, who will write 100,000 verses? So people readied Ganesh. Jehi sumirat siddhi hoye buddhi ke data. They said, Lord Ganesh, you are competent for this task. Ganesh ji said, I am willing. Ved Vyas, you keep speaking. I will keep writing. But I have a condition. You will not stop speaking in between. If you stop, I will put my quill down, and after that, I will not lift it up again. Ved Vyas thought, this is a very serious condition. If I need to think in between, he will put the quill down and my scripture will remain incomplete. So Ved Vyas said, all right, Ganesh ji, you have given your condition. Now hear my counter condition. I will keep speaking, you will keep writing. But whatever you write, you will first understand the meaning. After having comprehended, only then will you write it down. Now Ved Vyas ji got a respite. He would speak, Ganesh ji would write. But wherever he needed some rest, he would compose a difficult verse. So Ganesh ji would be lost in thought. Ved Vyas would get time. He would go do his morning ablutions, have a little snack and come back. Those verses are called Kuta Shlok. So in our Puranas and in the Mahabharata, there are 8,000 Kuta Shlok, or difficult verses whose meaning could not even be comprehended by Ganesh ji immediately. However, look at the ability of Ved Vyas. He is not like an intellectual writer who writes something and then thinks that, this has not come out perfectly. The alankar and the vibhakti is not really right. It could be improved. Let me cut it out and write it again. He merely kept speaking and Ganesh kept writing. But that Ved Vyas, this verse says, Alodya sarva shastrani vicharya cha punah punah. He says, I have churned all the scriptures and contemplated over them again and again and reached this conclusion. Idamekam sunishpannam dhyeyo narayano hari. They all are teaching us how to love God. This teaching is not confined to the Vedic scriptures. This is the essential teaching of all the religions. I was telling you yesterday how Jesus Christ said, the first and foremost commandment is to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy might and all thy soul. And the Quran Sharif is telling the same. So all these scriptures, all the religions, all the great saints, they all are telling us how to love God. And that is the way to attain Him. And this learning to love God is in fact the easiest of sadhanas. The others are so difficult. You burn yourself in Panchagni Kriya, dry up your body by eating dry leaves, etc., lie on a bed of thorns, it goes on and on. So somebody may ask that when it is so easy to love God and attain Him through love, then why are such different, difficult options also given in the Vedas? The answer is given by Ved Vyas himself. He says, Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta yavata mat katha shravanadauva shraddha yavan jayate. He gives the word shraddha. This is very important, faith. He says, it's easy to attain God through bhakti, but people don't have faith. They are not willing to believe that you can attain Him through love, because it's so easy. Something that is easy, you are not willing to establish your faith in it because the speciality eludes you. Supposing you ask me how to do pranayam, and I tell you use Nasagra Mudra and do it like this. You'll say, so simple. Swamiji doesn't know anything. All right, you do one thing. You take your hand over the head and take the other hand behind the back. Now you do it. That must be a special pranayam. Once, similarly, if for God realization, you ask me that how do we meet God, how do we attain Him? I say, you just love Him, you will attain Him. That's all. Swamiji doesn't know any scriptures. Okay, you do one thing, you give up your household life and you go into a cave in the Himalayas. And there you don't wear any clothes, you apply ashes on your body. And for 2 hours every day you hang upside down from the roof of the cave. And every day you pull out 10 hair and only eat dry leaves that have fallen down, you will see God. That must be a special sadhana. But tell me, if God was to meet us like that, He would not remain God, He would be a madman. He is the perfectly rational, loving Father. He doesn't need you to sleep on a bed of thorns. He says, you just accept me as your own. I am waiting for you with open arms. You consider me as yours. That's all you need to do. There was once a son who fought with his father. And he said, I will stand on my own feet, I will not stay at home. He walked out. He went here, went there. He could not earn his living, became a beggar. He was living in a hut in the same town as his father. Now somebody saw him in that pitiable condition and came and told the father that, do you know, your son is living just 3,641 steps from your house. Now the son may be kuput, bad son, but there is no kubap. The father is always merciful and loving. You go, catch his hand and bring him back. The father said, let him take one step. The rest of the 3,640 steps I will take. So the person said, if you are willing to take 3,640 steps, why are you putting the condition of one step? You take 3,641 steps. The father said, I'm willing to do that also. But what is the guarantee when I reach him, he'll be willing to come with me? Let him express his desire and I will do the rest. Similarly, by our effort, we cannot cut this Maya. We cannot attain God. He is divine. Our senses, mind, intellect are material. But we express our sincere desire. We put whatever we have to the best use to love God, and then by His grace, He does all the rest. So the simple way is to love God. And all the other things that are being told are means of enhancing that love. After all, you reside in a body. You can only love God as by keeping the body healthy. So in order to keep the body healthy, you do the yogasanas. And then you live in the world, in the household, you have to eat. So how will you eat? You have to earn, you need to work. So you're doing karma as well. In other words, you're doing all this, but the primary objective is to love God.